All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Player Pro Show. I'm your host, Player Pro, and we're here to talk about perspectives on issues that's going on in the world today, especially in the country, in the U.S. All right, well, I have some guests on the panel. All right, fellas, go ahead and introduce yourselves, starting with Cypress.
Um, Damn, I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Your
I'm
name.
Cypress.
What's your relationship status?
Single.
Single. Uh-huh. But now, anyway, Playboy, you just like
Nah, man, don't say that.
you just like Blaze. But y'all lover boys, boy, I swear.
Nah.
All right, go ahead, Clint.
I'm Clinton, and I'm soon to be single. I'm in the process of it, so yeah.
All right. Well, since we got the introductions out the way, all right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to hop straight into the show. Now, the topic is always, just something random. So I'm going to go ahead and play a clip, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to discuss it. All right. Let's see. Let's get the clip going.
There was some fucking knucklehead that was getting interviewed. They said if Mike Tyson identified as a woman, should he be able to fight women? And they were like, well, the short answer is yes.
Lord. Should Mike Tyson, if he identifies as a female, should he be allowed to box?
The short answer is yes.
After 20 fights, I was undefeated. Only one fighter stood between me and the belt.
You got this chick, she's nothing.
That's a funny clip, man. That's a very funny clip.
That is funny.
Very funny clip.
So the question is, do y'all think that men and women are equal when it comes to physicality?
No.
No, not at all. I think that women are unique in their era and their lane, their space, and men are unique in their space and in their lane, what they was built and created to do. You see what I'm saying? I think in today's time, we have the world is trying to make it where it's equal, where there's no distinction or there's no difference. You know, if you look at the WNBA and the NBA, NBA makes a lot more money than the WNBA. You see what I'm saying? But in that case, we don't want to see LeBron playing with a bunch of girls or women.
I like to see it.
1,000 and something points on the board. Who would pay to see that?
I would. You know why?
You would pay to see it to have a point proven.
No.
But you wouldn't pay to see it for the entertainment.
Yes, that's exactly what I'll be paying for it.
I wouldn't get entertainment out of that.
You ever seen that movie? You ever seen that movie, Juwanna Mann?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Where he was dressed up as a woman and went out there and played basketball.
Right.
And was out there just dunking on people, dunking on the women. Man, that would be more entertaining than the WNBA right now. The WNBA right now is a straight bore fest. Now, if you see some dudes out there with wigs on, shaking women up and dunking on them, you can't tell me that wouldn't be entertainment. I'd be laughing my butt off watching that.
See, the one thing, the difference with Juwanna Mann and the difference with out here in the real world, Juwanna Mann was disguised as a woman. Out here in the real world, we're going to know that that's a man playing against women. You see what I'm saying? And my thing is, why would I pay for a ticket if I already know who's going to win? Because I know there's more dominant figures playing on this team than the other. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, I already know who's going to win this game. I mean, I'm wasting my money paying $200 for a seat to go watch some dudes play against some females, you know? So I'm not taking away from a female sport. I mean, they in their lane and they get their fans. You see what I'm saying? And men, we play and we get our fans. It just happens so that most time there's a physical sport, men are dominated. You see what I'm saying? That has to do with just the makeup and genetics of being a man. Now, not to take away from women, as I mentioned before, you got Serena Williams. She plays, she dominates her sport. She does pretty good.
Against women.
In a sport like that, I still think that it's a possibility that if a man played, he could swing harder, hit harder. You see what I'm saying? That might make a difference in who wins or who loses. And so, I mean, I wouldn't want to pay for a ticket to watch anything like that.
What about you, Syke? What do you think?
So the easy answer is yes. So when I say yes, I mean women are weaker than men by nature. Men are built to handle more pressure, as it were. So when it comes to sports against women, when you have these men that come into these sports, they're going to dominate. They're going to take over. So you have this issue where everyone wants acceptance and equality for things that honestly aren't something you should accept across the board. Where does it stop? It stops when people use common sense and accept common sense for what it is and not try to mislabel it as some other underlying issue as if that's a pass for the person to join a sport that they know they obviously can't defeat other men in. We saw it with the swimmer. I don't remember his name. I'm trying to think of it.
I know who it is. The one that was just running, swimming circles around them women. I mean, destroying their records. And see, the bad part about this is, the reason I played that clip, because the number one female boxer, Clarissa Shields, have challenged, she challenged Keith One-Time Thurman. He's another champion. Well, he's not a champion now. He only got one loss on his record. He got knockouts and she got fights. Now, she challenged him to a fight. And I believe that if he fight her, it's a lose-lose situation. The only good outcome I can see that's good for us but not good for women, that if he go out there and actually show her and show women once and for all that they are not equal to men physically. Because isn't feminism right now trying to teach women that they are equal to men in every regard, in every aspect? So now they think that they can deal with men on a physical, that they're equal with men physically. And I'm trying to prevent them from getting hurt, because they also had a transgender UFC woman that was out there fighting and cracked this woman's skull. So I don't want to see more of that. But in order to get that point across, you're gonna have to make an example out of someone, and this would be a good time to make a prime example. Cause you seen that clip? Now, could you imagine Mike Tyson with a wig on fighting women? Could you imagine that? Can either one of y'all imagine that?
It's difficult to imagine.
Well, you just seen it on that clip.
Yeah, I know. I mean, when he turned around, it scared me. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking in my mind, like, okay, you have to ask yourself, I agree with what Cypher said. It stops when common sense kick in. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking, like, at what point do we get to where we say, okay, this is ridiculous. Somebody gonna lose their life. Somebody gonna get hurt. You see what I'm saying? At what point do we say that? I mean, we end up we just not too long ago actually accepted the LGBTQ community rights. For them to be able to go into the female bathroom based on their orientation or whatever the case may be. Every time there's a new president, there's a new agenda that's coming. And I'm like, okay, where does the line stop? Where does it say, okay, y'all can't do this now? No, we can't do that now. You all have this now. We got to stop it right here. Is there a line? Is there a line anywhere
The
that has to be
line,
drawn?
the line itself is called moral standards. People don't have those anymore. People lost their moral standards. And so they started to allow things that morally aren't correct. I say it's controversial. I understand, but that's true. And so when you combating against people's feelings, which in turn brings about different reactions. People across the board, everyone's got their feelings in the mix. So you have some people who can handle certain things when they're told that they're wrong. But then you get certain people that get violent when they're told that they're wrong. So when you have people who are afraid of other people's reactions, what do you have? Well, you have, in summation, men who do not have a backbone. They won't stand up and say no to that crowd because that crowd is emotionally compromised, which means that they can do anything, and you'd rather not deal with it. Think of it this way. If you had, I don't know if y'all, well, I know you got kids, player. I don't know if Clint has kids.
I got one.
Okay, so imagine if, say for instance, your son comes to you and he say he want to go to a friend house. You tell him no. As soon as you tell him no, what does he do? If he start breaking out crying and having an emotional tantrum, what do you usually do as a parent anyway? You discipline him.
You're gonna discipline.
However you do it. But so taking that same scenario and you apply that same scenario to the way this world is, you're literally dealing with infantile grown-ups who don't want the answer no. So how do you fight that? And that's the problem. All you can do is lead by example and take the lead if you can, and that just boils down to where you are in society. But
so are you referring to women as children?
I'm referring to, shoot, I was sitting here thinking about trans women too. But yeah, I was thinking about women who don't want to accept that they are not as strong as men. You are not a man. You can't, it's not a matter of, and I think too, women have a superiority thing going on in their own friend groups. So then it reaches out to men. So they think in a superiority sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he thinks he's better than me. And it's like, it's not even about that. Baby girl, you ain't gonna whoop me. Like, there's nothing you can do. So that's what they have to accept. And it just be okay with being in your lane. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a woman. Nothing wrong with being who you are. You know, just be respectful and know your limits. That's all it boils down to.
I agree with that. You know, I think the jump start a lot of this stuff came from the feminist movement that Jermaine was mentioning earlier. It jump started and it had a domino effect on a lot of stuff that we're seeing now today in today's world. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the feminist movement was just merely trying to pass a movement that says they're equal. Women and men are equal, right? And what I have seen out here, the people, the women who embrace that movement, they're hollering equal until it's time to do something that clearly shows that they're not equal. For example, we talked about this a while ago, where the woman who allegedly claimed that she got hit in the face with a brick, or she needed protection or something, the first thing she looked to say, "I want you to be a man. You know, I want you to be a man and protect me or help me, whatever the case may be." Anytime the situation serves a disadvantage to the feminine side, then is okay. Men are supposed to do this. Men are supposed to do that. But anytime it serves them or is advantage to them, then it's we're equal. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's a big problem in political platform and in the social platform. It's a big problem because now it's like, okay, well, y'all can't have it both ways. Which one is it? You guys want to be equal, or you guys want to just make it where, okay, you are females and they're males?
But see, this is the thing. They know that we're not equal, but you know, feminism has made them think that they can do anything a man can do. They think they are equal to us physically. They think they are equal to us in every regard. So they think that they should be able, see, because they don't want equal opportunity. They want equal outcomes. They want the same outcomes that men have, but they don't want equal opportunity. They have equal opportunity. There is nothing in this country that we can do that a woman don't have the opportunity to do. She can do anything she wants in this country. As a matter of fact, I would argue that she has more opportunity than we do, because they have a little thing called affirmative action. They have programs out here just to hire women, just for women, just for them. And they want a lot of these jobs. They want more female in a lot of positions that's dominated by men. So a lot of times they will hire women over men. So they have the opportunity to do whatever they want in this country. And they have more, like I said, they have more opportunity than us, because they can hop on OnlyFans and make $100,000 a month, and be set. We can't do that. We can't do that. So like I said, they have equal opportunity, but they don't want equal opportunity. They want equal outcomes. Now, let me show y'all this other little clip that goes along with what we're talking right now about are men and women equal physically? Let's see.
And he threw her head at the end. She said she want equal rights.
Could you see it?
You're gonna see a lot of that. You're gonna see a lot of that.
That girl, she challenged one of the guys in the karate school. She challenged one of the guys. You see how quick it was over? He put her in the headlock, but she tapped out so fast. See, I don't know why they do not understand that we are not equal. We were here to protect them.
No. Go ahead. I had a thought on the karate thing, but I'm gonna let you finish. My bad.
No, you good. We as men, it has been in our society from long as I can remember, from the beginning of time, for us to protect women. Even back when you go to Neanderthal time, or the caveman time, women were at their most vulnerable when they were pregnant. And who would protect them when they were pregnant? Because they couldn't feed themselves, and they couldn't protect themselves from outside dangers. That's what the men were there for. So and that's recorded. Now, for as long as I can remember, we have been here to protect women. We have always done it. It's only up until this generation where women want to claim that they are so much, that they're so equal, that they can protect themselves, they can provide their own money, they can do this and they can do that just the same way that we can. So it's just up into this generation to where they thinking now that they are on the same level as us, even physically. And that's just not true. And if they keep going down this road, somebody's going to end up getting hurt. And I really don't want that to happen. But go ahead, Syke.
Yeah, I agree with that. We don't want nobody to get hurt. That's the point of the whole Reed thing. But what I was going to say about the karate girl that got massacred in like 2 seconds. So the issue with this also, where it comes to women thinking they can handle it at the physical level, comes from the years of programming thinking a man won't hit me back as hard. And so when you have that thinking or thought process that he's going to pull his punches or he ain't going to hurt me as bad, you put yourself in a position to get hurt, because that's not true. Especially in a competitive setting. It was obviously demonstrated. If you're in a setting where you have to be in a physical altercation with another man, you would get demolished. She got a little cocky and she got humbled real quick. And it comes with humility, and that's the problem. Society does not push for humility. It pushes for, how can I be more superior to the person next to me? Or how can I stand up and be bigger than this person? And it doesn't matter, man or man, female or female, doesn't matter. That's the mentality of a lot of these people. Entitlement. The American idea that I am better. So it boils down to how can we combat this. More women need to be more humble and realize and recognize you're not on the same level as men.
Mm-hmm.
But you think
Will that sting? Probably not. I mean, you have a lot of women out here who are in fact stronger than men, who could physically beat up a man, but that's not a huge demographic. That's not. No. You saying no? But look at some of them women who are fit. Think about that one. Some of the women in the WWE. She could destroy a regular dude who works a 9 to 5. And I'm just saying on the physical level. I'm not saying they all can do it. It's a small demographic, very small.
No matter how. No matter.
Go
ahead, Buff. Go ahead, Clint.
See, that brings me to the question, back to that feminist movement thing. Is that movement based on gaining equality, or is this based on gaining power? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because the way I see it, what does it profit a man to beat these women at every sport, like we saw with the karate? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What profit us if we win or we lose? If we turn it down, see, I told you I can do anything a man can do. And then if we beat her, if she beats us, then it's, you got beat by a woman. And that proves whatever they movement that they carrying, or whatever torch they carrying, a champion. Oh, see, told you, we can do it. We can do it, ladies. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is that it's a lose-lose for a man in this situation. So is that movement more so about gaining power, or is it really about equality? That's my first question. The second one is that I've seen a woman. I was one day I was driving past, and this is reconstruction area, and this woman out there, she's working along with the guys as a construction worker. She got the hat on and everything, and I'm sitting over there with the jackhammer and whatnot. I thought it was a dude at first glance, but as I slow went past, I noticed the protrudings of the breasts and the hips and all that. And I'm like, that's a female. And I'm shocked because I don't see it all the time. A woman out there doing construction. And something about that picture just looked off to me about guys standing around watching a female jackhammer. You know what I mean? Into concrete. It just didn't look right. But that was, and I'm thinking like, is the movement, feminist movement that they want to see? Is this the image they want to see every day? So that's the thing that got me. And I look at it like, for example, Ronda Rousey. I don't know if you guys know who she is, but Ronda Rousey, I believe she challenged Floyd Mayweather.
She did.
To a fight.
She did.
And I'm thinking from Floyd's perspective, what can he possibly gain from that?
He doesn't gain anything.
That's why
a lot of the times when it comes to these celebrities, they're doing it for clout. So if anything, it was just a publicity stunt, in my opinion. But when you have regular chicks who think that they can go toe to toe with a man, then that's when it becomes a problem. It's like, why do you feel that way? Why do you think you can take on a man? The mentality that women can do whatever men can do, and you can't.
Mm-hmm.
See,
that's what I'm saying. So there was, either way, by her even calling him out, that still was a credit to her. Either way, whether he accepted the challenge or he didn't, it still was a credit because she challenged a man, and even if she got a chance, the opportunity to fight him, she would have went down in history as the first woman that fought a boxer, a male boxer. So what I'm saying is that no matter what the situation is that's involving men and women, it's typically always, the scales usually tip to the favor of the woman.
Well, I don't have the clip, but there was another woman. She was pretty much considered, I think it was like in the early 90s. She was considered the female version of Mike Tyson. Undefeated, destroying all women. She was having a problem finding fights because she was destroying women so bad that nobody really wanted to fight her. So she went and challenged a dude. She challenged a dude to a fight. I think he was a professional fighter, but he was so low ranked, he was a nobody. When I tell you he beat her so bad, he put her on her tail. I think she retired right after that. Yeah, he beat her. Mm-hmm. But see, the thing is though, this is what
and he can't brag about it.
No.
He can't get a trophy for that.
No.
He can't get an award for that.
No, but
No,
see,
it's a lose. That's my point. It's a lose either way. You see what I'm saying? She's gonna get more props just for even attempting, just for even trying. She's gonna go down. See how you remember her? But you can't tell me 15 of Floyd Mayweather's fights. You see what I'm saying? But that one fight she had, you can remember it. So either way, the scale.
I remember his fights because I'm a boxing guy.
What was that?
I remember his fights because I'm a boxing guy.
Oh, 15 of his fights? Oh, good job, man. I don't follow that much. But
I love boxing.
I know a couple, but not 15 right off the top of my head.
I probably do 15. I probably could do at least 10.
About 10?
I can do at least 10.
That's well, I know about that many.
Now,
but my point that I'm trying to make is
go ahead.
She's remembered. You see how you remembered her? She's remembered for that just attempt. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying is that, you know, there's no win for a man in that. So I accept being able to decline and turn down any offer, especially a physical challenge from a woman. I would decline it. I wouldn't blame any celebrity or athlete that declines it too.
Now I wanted to disagree with what Sipe said earlier. He said that he believed that there are some women that could just beat up dudes. Now, can a woman beat up maybe a fat dude that's out of shape or an old man that's out of shape?
Okay, let me ask you this. Hold on. Because I feel like you can't accept the thought that a woman can beat a man. And here's a perfect example of one. Harriet Tubman beat up physically grown men to make them run. This is a woman we talk about. So if those men truly did not want to get beat up, they could have beat her up and left her where she was sitting. But she beat the men up and made them move. And then again, I know she had a gun at some point, but that's besides the point. The point is, she did it.
I think Cypress is trying to point out the disparity. You see what I'm saying? He says it's common for a man. It's normal for a man to be able to dominate a woman physically, but he said in some forms or some disparities, you might get some women who can actually dominate a man in a physical contact.
Because I remember when I was going to school, when I was going in high school, there was this one girl, big old girl. Man, she used to beat some dude's tail. She used to beat their tail. But she was big as I don't know what. But those guys were smaller than her. But now, it is a fact. Now, when it comes to women who's raising boys, when a boy gets to about 12, 13 years old, and he starts to come into puberty, and that testosterone starts kicking in, at that point, he starts to become twice as strong as his mama. Even though she's grown, he ain't number a teenager. He starts to become twice as strong as her. Men are twice as strong as women. They have more hand strength, they got more core strength, they got more overall strength. Now,
I can see that. Give and take. I can see that. That's because the mother has gotten older at this point, too. You see what I'm saying?
Well, usually when a boy is 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, the mom is still, in her 20s, usually. Or they're doing in her late 20s or early 30s.
At 14? Wow.
Well,
she started early, boy.
They do nowadays. That's more, it's common now for them to start early. But I ain't gonna say, they just say 33 to 35, just for the sake of this conversation. That is not relatively old. Now they just say early 30s. That's not relatively old. Now, can a 15-year-old boy beat up a 30-year-old woman? Yes, 100%. I've actually seen this. I've seen some teenagers beat up dudes. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that on average, women cannot deal with a physically grown man when it comes to power or strength, so on and so on. We are not here to fight women. We were not here to beat up on women. We were here to. We have our strength and stuff was provided to us so we can protect women and so we can go out and work and provide for us to do the hard labor jobs and work until we can't work no more. That's
Right.
that's what we're here for.
And I agree with that. I guess what Cypress is trying to say, that there are rare occasions where there's outliers where you might get, a
I
few
believe that.
women that can dominate a man. You see what I'm saying?
I used to have neighbors, and it was a little dude, black dude with a big white girl, and she was whooping on him. She was whooping on that man.
I've seen it before.
And so it's like, it's some demographics, it's some issues where there are women who will dominate a man. But like I said, it's a very small percentage. But the case in point is that women cannot in no way, shape, or form be stronger than men. And it's honestly one of those useless conversations to have with women, because if they can't accept that fact, that means in a nutshell, they're delusional. There used to be asylums for people like that back in the day. We don't have them anymore. Can't give them any kind of mental treatment or shockwave treatment. Not that it will work as torture, but still, the point is they don't want to listen. But go on.
See, this is the problem. Until it gets shown without a shadow of a doubt that until women get someone make an example and let them know that they are not able to stand up to a man physically, until somebody make an example out of one of these women, they're gonna continue to try men as if they can stand toe to toe with a man. Now, you remember not too long ago, you probably remember I talked about it once before about the lady in Chicago who was at the hot dog stand that night who got beat up by a woman. They end up getting the dude end up getting deleted by the woman's son.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Now, see, what I'm saying is, yes, that dude was 100% wrong. He was 100% wrong. But if, as the woman, if you know that you cannot physically whip this man, why argue with him? There was absolutely no point to be arguing with this man if you know you can't physically whoop him. See, us as men, we understand. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and argue with Mike Tyson. Why would I do that? If I can't whoop him, I know better than to try to face that man toe to toe. Or if The Rock was standing there, you think I would sit there and be arguing with The Rock if I know that I can't whoop him? Now I ain't scared of The Rock. Don't get it twisted.
Might have to do it at a distance.
I'm like, hey, Rock, all them muscles, I hope you can run, buddy, because you gonna have to catch me, boy. But I ain't scared of nobody. But I know that doing I understand situation awareness. I understand that. I know if I can't whip you, I'll try you now. Don't get it twisted. I ain't scared of you. But see, but logically, there's a big possibility that I cannot whoop you. But the thing is, I know that if I was a woman, I knew for a fact that I couldn't whoop that man. I know that. So why would I jump up in that man's face or argue with that man knowing I cannot physically beat that man? But I see this happen on a regular basis where women will test men, will jump up in their face and try to fight them and so on and so on. And it always ends bad, but they continue to do it. I wonder why that is.
Let me emotion. Ask you this. Go ahead. Cypress is about to say something.
No, I was gonna say. Well, I got two things to say because apparently I gotta go pick up food in like the next 10 minutes. Yeah, you gotta give me. So I'm gonna go pick up some food she ordered. But what I was gonna say was it comes from emotional immaturity. That's the word I was looking for. Emotional immaturity. When you allow your emotions to take hold of you, you act out. So, like, remember when I brought up the kids or your children and they start acting out like that? Mm-hmm. That's it. Emotional immaturity. Mm-hmm. They acting out. Okay. It's a temper tantrum. But the way you handle it, and it's so simple. The way you handle it, you got to snap them out of it. You gotta shake them at their core, and the way to do that is being off the wall with them.
How so?
So, like how that girl thought she could challenge that dude, and she got folded in 2 seconds. I bet she ain't doing that again.
Yeah, I think she learned her lesson.
she ain't gonna do it again. You gotta snap him out of it. You gotta let him know, hey, look, equal rights, equal fights. So, you know, if you humble yourself and you have emotional maturity, you won't want to fight that person. It's just like you said with Mike Tyson. I don't care how mad you get with Mike Tyson. You're not finna get in his face and try to throw a punch because you know you're gonna get hit with several of them that you might not wake up from. So that's what I'm saying. Like emotional maturity, like you check yourself and go, you know what? I know I can't whoop this person. I'm gonna let my emotions I'm gonna ride the wave and I'm gonna keep it pushing, and that takes humility. And that's what something a lot of women don't have because they don't think they need it.
You know, once upon a time, women did have situation awareness. They understood that I'm in danger. I could possibly be hurt or injured or deleted. They used to have this. They used to understand this. It's only within the last 40, 50 years or so, you know what I'm saying, with the rise of feminism, that they are thinking that they can go toe-to-toe with a man. And as a matter of fact, with that being said, I got another small clip I'm gonna go ahead and play that will illustrate some of the things that what I'm trying to say when women try to challenge men. I got another one. Here we go.
You ain't gonna hit me though. You ain't gonna hit me though. Is you? I'm calling my daddy right now. I'm calling my daddy right now.
Boy, that was funny. That was funny. Hopefully your father don't actually show up, because if I was him, I would do exactly what I was prepared to do to your father. For sure. You got 50%. If he comes over thinking he's a superhero, you don't get 100. Don't care the age. He ain't my daddy.
Okay. All right.
Now you see how she ran up on him, slapping him all in the face. Somebody, you ain't gonna do this, you ain't gonna do that. And he ain't do nothing but stand up. And she like to jumped out of her skin.
Well, that's because in that moment she knew she was wrong, and she wasn't for sure whether he was going to retaliate or not. So she was just embracing herself. She's bracing herself basically. Now I see a couple of things wrong in this situation. One, it tells me it's toxic. You see what I'm saying? Especially for her to be comfortable enough to put her hands on him like that. Two, you can't control or stop somebody from putting their hands on you. The only thing you can do is control how you respond to that. You see what I'm saying? And he just stood up. Don't get me wrong. Now, and he stopped, so he caught himself. But I know most guys, they would have went all the way through with it, and they would have violently, hurt that woman. And the situation like that, like I said, laws are made for women and children. You see what I'm saying? It's made to protect women and children. In a situation like that, take the hit, handle your emotions, call the cops. You got it on camera.
But she said I'm gonna call my daddy.
I'm gonna call my pops and all that stuff. You got everything on camera. You got to be able to control your emotions in situations like that, especially when they overly emotional. Like my man said, Cypress, about emotional maturity and being humble. You see what I'm saying? Whatever the situation is, it didn't call to even get to that level where it got to violence, to the point where she felt comfortable enough with hitting that man. You see what I'm saying? And now again, anytime there's a disagreement or altercation with a woman, it's always almost 90% of the time it's a lose-lose for the man. You see what I'm saying? If he doesn't do anything, you let her rock you like that? You know what I mean? If he do something, you going to jail, you hitting women. So, almost 90% of the time. So in situations like that, I think the first thing he should have did was, hey, 911, I got you right here on camera, blah, 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 or remove himself. If that's her house, remove himself from the situation, deal with it at a distance. You see, she's, might be out of her mind at that moment. You see what I'm saying? And if it's his establishment, his place, kick her out. Call the cops and have her removed. Either way, we got to play that game. We got to play that game. We can't never get into our emotions when it's dealing with a woman.
What do you think, Syke, on that clip?
So I noticed several things. I noticed that she does probably get loud. Now I do need to make sure that wasn't a skit, right?
It didn't look like it, but if
okay,
it was,
okay. So in a realistic situation, in a realistic instance, so there's two things going on that I noticed. So she can be loud and abrasive and bullheaded with her man. He allows it because you could tell she just probably does it on the regular. He might ask her to stop, but she does it anyway. And then two, he just stood up and she fell apart. So either he rocking her right now anyway because she does that. The issue is respect between either side ain't there. Because if you respected the man you're with, you wouldn't feel even the need to go that far and start yelling and get crazy. And then when he stood up, if they had I'd say less, as he said, as Clint said, a less toxic relationship. When he stood up, it wouldn't have been a reaction falling all over the place. I'm gonna call my daddy. Now then the other issue is you involving somebody else to that problem who could get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So that also is a problem in today's society. A lot of women want to call their brothers or their dad and say, "My man doing this to me," but they also are a part of the problem.
You know what? Funny you should say that. I've said this when women, because nowadays our women in our community are saying that they are the least protected and we don't protect them. And I said, I call cap on that. I'm like, I don't know. This is just me personally. I don't know not one black woman that don't have a daddy, a brother, an uncle, a cousin, or some type of male in their family that they can't call upon if it ever came down to it. That would not come to her aid if she is being, if she's in danger, if she's in harm's way or she's in danger. I don't know no woman that don't have a male in her family somewhere that will come to her defense. So
most women do. Most women have somebody.
The sad part about that, are you coming to her defense when she's totally wrong and you got a family and she's injecting you into something that's been toxic from the very beginning? You see what I'm saying? We got to consider that. All those variables we got to consider, because you jumping to protect one person when you're neglecting 5 others. You see what I'm saying? And if you don't come out of that situation, now 5 other people are hurt over a situation that one person started or created themselves when you have been warning them the whole entire time this situation is not good for you. And now who got hurt in that? You and other people that connected to you. So my thing is that at the end of the day, they got to make better choices.
Mm-hmm. See, funny you should say that, because you remember we were just talking about the woman that supposedly got hit in the head with a brick, but it was all a lie. It was a hoax.
Right.
And she scammed a lot of people. She made like a little over $40,000, and it was all a hoax. It was none of it real. She made it up to get money. But all over the country, you have video after video after video talking about black men like a dog. Black men don't protect women and blah 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 blah. They don't protect nobody. But then, when they found out it was a hoax, not one of these women stood up and made a video and said, "You know what? I'm sorry. We was wrong, and I'm sorry." And the crazy part about that, right after that, there is a story came out where a guy was defending a black man was defending a black woman in Walmart and got deleted. And this happened recently, and got deleted. And they started to GoFundMe because he left a wife and a newborn child. He
protect someone else.
To go protect someone else. No, what I'm saying is he was already in Walmart and he was protecting this lady, and he got deleted. But he leave behind a wife and a newborn child. Nobody's even speaking about that. Ain't no thousands of videos coming out talking about this guy. They started to GoFundMe to help, but his GoFundMe for him is not making little or nothing compared to what that woman made. And that's crazy to me. No one has nothing to say about that. Nothing to say.
Do you have the figures for his GoFundMe? Do you know?
I don't. I haven't looked it up, but I'm quite sure I can find it.
Yeah, look it up and then put it in, throw it in the Discord. if
But see,
anybody
at
else.
the heat of the moment, like we saw in that clip you just had, when that woman reacted like that, that goes on everywhere. We don't know how that woman reacted in Walmart in the heat of the moment. That caused her or provoked her needing protection. You see what I'm saying?
I look at it like this: men have always protected women. What we have today are not women. We have dudes with vaginas. That's what we have nowadays. We have dudes with vaginas because they are just as masculine as a lot of the dudes that I know. The women, these are the women, these modern day women. They are acting very masculine.
A lot of it comes from this unfortunate spike in entertainment where women are masculine, hypersexual. They don't have self-respect, but they mask it and they call it as being independent. What do you call it? Independent, strong, and all these other things. But the reality of it all is that it's a lack of self-respect, and in turn, that lack of self-respect, you don't get anywhere with that, and you just you're just turned into somebody for the street. You're turned into somebody who can never be a housewife because you don't exhibit the qualities of a housewife. A housewife is mild-tempered, lowly, and kind. You make sure to not say or do anything that's going to cause problems. In fact, she adds to it, being the support for the man, not a therapist, not somebody to hold him up the whole time he's falling, but a support system. Like, no different than you would if you had, say, you lived with somebody and y'all had a whole unit and you had it figured out and somebody paid the bills and stuff like that. It's no different, but the difference is a woman recognizing her place or role in a relationship, just like a man should recognize his place and role in a relationship as a provider, as somebody taking the lead, as somebody who's kind and nurturing also to his woman. Because guess what? Men, we're supposed to take care of them too, emotionally and mentally and spiritually. And that's what we don't have in today's society. We have a lot of independent thinkers who think they know everything and they're wrong. And so then in turn, you have these women who are masculine because they have to take on the responsibility of what the man is in single parent households. So in turn, those women take control, and when I say take control, let me break that down. What they do is they get on the panel. They become the face of conversation of what a man wants or what you should expect from a man, but they themselves don't have one. And it's because they themselves are not humble. Because if they did have one, they wouldn't be in the front speaking. They'd be saying, this is what I do for my husband. And this is what makes my marriage work. There wouldn't be any pick-me's because these pick-me's would actually be married and have fulfilling relationships. But they don't.
It's funny you should say that because I've said it multiple times, that a man cannot protect anyone if he don't have some level of authority over the people that he protects. Now, if a man runs a household, he has to have authority under the people under his covering. Because if he can't control the things that they do, then how can he protect? Because Minister Farrakhan said it best. He said, you cannot protect what you can't control. And that is a fact. Because if I ask you not to do something because it's not in your best interest and you do it anyway, now you put me in a bad position. Because now I'm forced to protect you that could cost me my life. And all because you didn't want to listen. And speaking of that, how much time do you have, Syke?
I was just about to say something. I'm about to leave in the next 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah,
I gotta
me
get
too.
on the road.
I just had a comment though, but go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Would you all agree that the measure of a man is what he does with power? Right? Would you all agree with that?
Yes, in a way, yes.
The reason why I'm asking is because most of the time when you have these movements, and I was saying earlier, is it about equality or is it about power? the more power you give something or someone or an entity, the more they're able to impose their agenda on what they really want to do. You see what I'm saying? So when you give something or someone more power, more leeway, and to the person who gave the power or people on the outside looking in, we see it as an outrage. Why are they like this? Why are they doing this? But to the person with power, they feel it's just. They feel it's justified in what they're doing because that's been in them the whole entire time. They just now have power to do it. Make sense? And that was a quote from Socrates, is a Greek writer, philosopher.
Oh, Socrates.
And he said the measure of a man is by what he does with power.
Well, I'd say I agree with that.
That's my ending comment I wanted to leave with y'all. But go ahead, Cypress.
No, I was going to say I would partly agree with that, but the measure of a man is, I think it's more than what he does with his power. Because, I mean, power would encompass everything he's responsible for. So, a man, you can think about what is a man responsible for. A man's responsible, if he has a household, to provide for the household, to make sure that wife is taken care of, and there in turn, if they have kids, the kids are taken care of. And as the head of the woman is the man, and the head of the man, God himself. And if the man is obedient to God in terms as to what he's supposed to do as a man, then everything will work out accordingly. But we have today, again, we have women who are listening to people they ought not to. And there in turn, they have this big, this ego trip where they want to be on the same level as men, because we have today in society, men aren't men anymore. Men want to be protected. Men want to be provided for. When that goes against everything that is a man.
Well,
could you imagine? Because think about this, play, bro. Think about this. Could you imagine getting married to a woman and then you sitting at home while she goes to work every day?
No, I'm not. No. I was never built that way.
That just wouldn't be right. But shouldn't that man still be the head of that household, though? I mean, because that's a God.
He should be.
Right?
Yes, he should be the head of the household, and he should be the one going to work. And not saying women can't, but what I'm saying is, if the man is taking lead, a woman by nature would do anything and follow anybody. She won't need to be told, because by nature, in herself, it will come out. It will be like an energy. She will feel that man's leadership, and she'll go, you know what? That man knows what he's doing. He is a leader, and I am willing to follow. That's what happens.
I partially agree with that, but what I disagree with that statement is the conditioning. The conditioning that is in the U.S. is so strong. I don't care how much of a leader you are. A lot of the women, not all, but a lot of the women have been conditioned to not follow a man, to not listen to a man, no matter how strong he is. Because this has been taught from a young age till they get older. It's just been drilled into them from as a child by their mama, as they get older by their mama, when they go to school, then when they go to college, and so on and so on. And everything you listen to, everything you see on TV is all conditioning you to be a certain way, to not listen to men, no matter how dominant you are. Now, you do have some certain type of women that are the submissive, the feminine, the friendly type women. You do have some of them. It's not very many, but you do have some. But on average, I don't see too many women nowadays actually following that blueprint of what you're talking about, to where if they found a man that was just so strong and he was such a leader that they would just submit. No, submission is not a switch that you can just flip on and off. So if you're a submissive woman, you're submissive all the time, 100%. Not just when you feel like, okay, well, if I find, because a lot of women say that nowadays, well, if I find the right man, I'm going to submit. And it does not work that way. So even if they found a man that was the good leader and he was the good provider and he's everything else, she's not gonna just flip a switch on and bam, now
it takes time.
It does not work that way.
It's like you said, the word conditioning. That's something that takes time to undo. I think of it like and it's not to say the same. This could be my closing statement, but I think of it kind of like when it comes to drug addicts. They can go through a program and it's not a switch that flips and they just stop doing those drugs. It takes time. It takes them. It takes days, years for them to break that habit, to break it. So it's the same when it comes to someone who has no vision on what it is to be a woman in a support role. It takes time to deprogram yourself from what society standards are telling you to be, because it's so hard out there, and it's like a thick blanket being put over your head when you are someone who's trying to figure it out and find your way, and you have all these different opinions and all that so forth. So it boils down to what you know to be right and conclusive. And going back to the initial topic of the conversation, women cannot beat men in a physical match at all in any way, shape, or form, except that very small 10% demographic we talked about. But again, it boils down to not allowing society standards to control your decisions and control you. You have to stand up for yourself, and it requires humility and modesty, and honestly elevating your mind from the dirt that we have outside. But that's all I got. I gotta go. I gotta pick this food
Do you
up.
think there's a solution to this problem, or this all begins with self? I'm talking about as far as the dynamic between women feeling equal to men, and the men engaging to female sports. Is there a solution to that problem, or
there is a solution?
It's just something that has to begin within.
No, there is a solution, and again, it goes back to what I was saying. The solution is common sense. And we need to stop the acceptance and tolerance in society, because in my own personal opinion, the world has become so open-minded that its brain is falling out. So people will say, oh, you're not open-minded to different ideas. No, it's not that I'm not open-minded. It's like common sense. I'm not a truck, so I'm not going to play chicken with a truck, right? Because I'm not a truck. So it's the same thing. If you're a woman, why are you challenging a man into a fight you physically can't win? That's absurd. So common sense needs to be brought back. People with backbone need to step up and say what's honestly smart and what's not. And we need to stop acceptance and tolerance in today's society and drop it, because it's gotten to a point where there is no line anymore. We need a line. There is no line. This is why we have a problem. So it goes back to the drawing board. But hey, I gotta go pick this food up.
All right, Cypress. Take care.
All right, man.
All right.
Hey, we'll get up.
Out.
Yeah. All right, we'll get up again and have a part 2 to this discussion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it.
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
I'll be drinking. Right. I'm gonna drink next time.
I hope not. I hope. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
That is the end of this segment of the Player Pro Show. I do appreciate y'all for watching. And like I always say in closing, ladies and gentlemen, we are definitely better together than we are apart. Let's make our community great again. And with that, I do bid y'all adieu. Peace.